Hi there, welcome to kneppyinvests and welcome to July the 10th, 2024. We have about 2 hours left of trading today. Time currently is 2:15 p.m. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I'm recording this video a little bit earlier than usual. And the main reason is because I'm in between two night shifts. Now, I don't want any of your sympathy because my shift last night was an emergency shift and I get paid quite handsomely for that particular shift. So I wanted it and I prefer it. And the good thing about me is I don't typically need much sleep when I'm doing overnight shifts or night shifts, 12-hour night shifts. I don't need much sleep. Now, typically when I am in between night shifts, I won't go to bed straight away. I'll go to bed just before the market opens. Today, this morning, I went to bed about 9:30 a.m. And the main reason I went to bed at 9:30 a.m. instead of waiting to 10 a.m. because that's when the market opens is because it was, to be honest with you, a fairly boring day when it came to announcements by 9:30 a.m. However, when I woke up, the first thing I do is I come downstairs and check all the announcements that were released when I was sleeping, and I was just amazed how many intriguing announcements were released after 9:30 a.m. So today was much better in terms of announcements than I anticipated when I went to sleep. In fact, quite a few companies released announcements that I thought were interesting or intriguing that did not make it into the top 5 announcements. So if we go back to the announcements this morning, there was a few announcements that I was thinking, oh, this could make it. A Pacific Edge, a quarterly update. The share price of that company has been in a bit of a funk over the past year and a bit. Whitehawk, first cyber risk contract with ASX 100 listed company. I thought, that's interesting. Catalyst Metals achieves 4-year production of 110,000 ounces. Now, I read the title of that announcement. I thought, no, okay, fair enough. And I went on to the next announcement, but I didn't realize that actually was a good announcement. And it did make it into my top 5. Then I went, nothing else, much. WA1 Resources went into training Halt to do a capital raising, but that's irrelevant for now. Australian Gold and Copper, extensive exploration campaign underway in Achilles. Not much substance to that announcement. Imaging, first patient dosed in phase 1 bile tract. Fine enough. Live Verdue, company I don't know much about, launches or announces launch of the edible beauty AI POC. Edible, but the share price was up last time I looked, 6.5%. And then I went to bed somewhere around here because I missed AML 3D response to ASX query. And then after that, at 9:30 a.m., Infini Resources, which was an announcement I've been waiting for, and this was without doubt the announcement of the day. So there it is. Infini Resources up about 50% last time I looked. Yeah, 45.9%. So share price actually pulled back a little bit. And then after Infini, it was just announcement after announcement. Clearvue Technologies, Appendix 4C. Now, this is the first Appendix 4C for a company that is generating cash receipts. So I had to talk or have to talk about Clearvue. Even Freehill Mining, this is a mining production company. Sales up 84% quarter on quarter. Not sure the share price has reacted. Yeah, up 14.29%. However, the share price is 0.8 cents. And that's the main reason that company did not make it into my top 5. A company called Agromin, talking about potash, so fertilizer. Their share price of this company down a fair bit, 14.81%. DY6 Metals, a company that has popped up on my radar over the past month. They saw their CEO resign. Radio Farm Theranostics, first patient dosed in phase 1. Doesn't really interest me all that much. Doug Technology, however, does. New compute delivered and financial arrangements concluded. Share price has rallied today on the back of that, up 8%. However, it did not make it in my top 5. And then at 10:01 a.m., and I would have missed this announcement on a typical day because I usually go away at about 10 a.m. They released an announcement at 10:01 a.m. Bell Financial expects first half profit before tax of approximately 23.8 million, up 47%. And this company definitely made it into my top 5. I am a shareholder of this company, and I do think there is an argument. It is quite cheap. And then even after that, Quickstep. They went to trading halt yesterday, and the whole reason they went to trading halt because the share price has rallied, and they responded to that query. Did not make it in my top 5. However, I do want to touch upon that because what they mentioned in that announcement is interesting. Orthocell, which I did talk about yesterday, went into a trading hunt. I thought, oh, is that a capital raising? And I'll talk about that later in the video as well. It's not a capital raising. And Magellan Global Fund, New South Wales Supreme Court approval. Didn't really care about that one. But then Aurelia Metals, financial year 24 production and cash update. And I was interested in that particular announcement. They released that at 12:21 p.m. So I went from thinking, what a boring day on the ASX. No interesting announcements at 9:30 a.m. And I came back and it's just a plethora of companies I could talk about. And quite a few companies did not make it into my top 5 announcements of the day. Now, the agenda for today's video is fairly similar. I will look at the ASX Today, best and worst performing sectors, indices, and companies. I'll also have a look at those top 5 announcements. I might briefly touch upon some of the companies that did not make it into that top 5 stocks of the day, not announcements, stocks. And I will actually look at a few tweets. I actually did send 2 tweets. One on Clearvue, because it was the first real Appendix 4C for a company that is producing cash receipts. And I also did a tweet on Bell Financial, not a tweet on Infini, but I'll talk about Infini resources later in the video. And I also, when it comes to that company, I'll also look at how to read uranium results. I did Google it as I read through that particular announcement, and I did find some interesting information online. Okay, so let's have a look at a few tweets to start off with, because I haven't done this for a while. This one's interesting from Game of Trades. Consumers have now run out of excess savings, so I'm assuming this is United States. Yes, Fed's notes. Hitting levels not seen in 5+ years. This won't end well. That's one of the most frustrating things about Twitter. When you do make a grammatical mistake, you can't edit it unless you subscribe. Yeah, I've tried that before. I typically make a lot of mistakes when I'm writing stuff, and it just won't let you edit it. So either you have to delete the tweet or just live with it. Anyway, so this has been, I wouldn't say an issue, but this was always going to happen because of increasing interest rates and the flush of cash that were given to people during COVID-19. So this should not be a shock to anyone. This was eventually going to happen. But if interest rates remain where they are, I think this could have a significant effect on the economies around the world. And I think there's a chance, if interest rates remain elevated or even increase, which I'm not sure what they're going to do, I think there's an increasing chance we'll go into recession. Here's an interesting one from Bar Chart. This is Cathie Wood speaking, and this is just insane. I don't know where they get these projections from, and this is one of the reasons why ARK Invest is really bullish on Tesla. Robotaxis will generate 8 to 10 trillion, yes, trillion, not billion, trillion dollars in revenue by 2030. 6 years, half of which will go to platforms such as Tesla. I just think they are way too bullish when it comes to robotaxis just yet. Now, I'm a fan of robotaxis, but based off what I have seen, not personally, but I have seen a few people use robotaxis in some of those American cities that are using it. And the cost is not to the point where it's advantageous to use robotaxis over normal taxis. Now, I would prefer robotaxis over normal taxis because I don't like people, don't like taxi drivers, that sort of thing. And I would trend to use robotaxis if it's the price was there. But eventually, I think the price will get down. But anyway, $8 to $10 trillion in revenue. What are they smoking? Maybe they were going to be right. We'll see in 6 years. Here's one from Hidden Value Gems. A good chart on how narrow the US market has been this year. So just going to, or looking at the performers, one of the worst performing companies is Walgreens. We also have Intel, Nike, performing pretty bad. Yeah, this one, someone did mention this is a little bit late because Tesla is now way higher than this because Tesla share price has gone on a run. And it has gone, maybe they're listening to, or shareholders are listening to Cathie Wood, because Tesla has gone on a really good run the last week or so. 2 weeks, in fact. Share price has increased from $180 to $262. It just shows you how fickle the American market can be. And it's just based off the productions levels were not as down as expected. That's all it is. And maybe there's a bit of hype out there around this company. But otherwise, yeah, so Tesla's a little bit better than this. And apparently Apple's a little bit better than this as well because, just like Tesla, Apple has gone on a bit of a run. Yeah, look at that run. That's a beautiful looking chart for Apple. So someone did query how how old is this particular information? But at the top we have not Nvidia, we have SMCI. Funny enough, I own Nvidia, Meta, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Tesla. I don't own SMCI, and thankfully I don't own Nike, Intel. I'm pretty sure that's Intel. INT makes sense, and definitely don't own Walgreens. Uh, so SMCI, it definitely has to do with semiconductors. SMCI, semiconductor, super microcomputer. So let's have a look at the chart for this. It's not quite. Yeah, it's really pulled back, hasn't it? But over the past year, if you go back to April, it's gone from $200 to $895 now. And in fact, it went from $200 to $1,240 if you look from April to April. So yeah, just wondering how old this information is. And that was actually, I think that was the first question in this. If I can find it, where is it? Oh, there it is. Yeah, Apple is up, Tesla now flat. How old is this data? Yeah. No, that's all the. Actually, no, there's one other tweet I want to look at, and that is from Kofin. In several of Peter Lynch's old books, he shared a charting technique later dubbed the Peter Lynch chart. A quick way to tell if a stock is overpriced is to compare the price line to the earnings line. I really have to recommend Peter Lynch's book, One Up on Wall Street. I have not read that book for maybe 8 or 10 years, and I do have it on my bookshelf somewhere. Where is it? There it is. This is it. One Up on Wall Street performs much better than Warren Buffett. I think he ran his fund for maybe 15 years and absolutely destroyed the market and then retired. Because why wouldn't you? If you perform that well for 15 years, just retire. That's what I would do anyway. Warren Buffett has not done that, but I would call P. Lynch one of the greatest investors of all time. And yes, I would put him above Warren Buffett, but that's just me. Okay, so let's have a look at the ASX today. And overall, everything's in the red. Not surprising, a little bit. Not surprising, just a little bit, because the Dow Jones was down 0.13%, and we do seem at times to over amplify what happens on the American markets. Nasdaq was actually up a little bit. I'm having a quick look at some of the commodities because mining's down, and not seeing much negativity in mining at all. Oil's down a little bit. Silver's down. The Russell 2000 was down 0.45%. So maybe our market is more like the Russell 2000 than anything else. But maybe not. Anyway, the DAX is down 1.28. Maybe that's why. I have no idea. Because DAX opens earlier than the American markets, while the FTSE was up. No idea why we are down. Just a little bit of negative sentiment. However, it's not down that much, apart from small caps and resources down 0.91%. So let's have a look at the sectors. Telecommunications, another good day. I'm wondering if that is led by Telstra. So Telstra increased the prices of their mobile plans yesterday. The market likes it. Pricing power. It's up another 2.55% today. And I'm going to just have a look at the Telstra's chart. Is it breaking out? Is this... I don't necessarily like this particular chart because the share price was in a downtrend. It's just a nice little rally. We saw this sort of thing happen between November and February. November last year, February this year. We saw the share price rallying. So this is not necessarily a share price breaking up for Telstra. And I would not necessarily say Telstra is cheap even at these levels. But again, pricing power, very important in these times. You need the ability, or companies need the ability, to be able to raise prices and consumers not go to their competitors. And more than likely, because Australians are pretty stupid, I'm sorry if you're Australian, you're pretty stupid. You're going to stick with Telstra. This is how a lot of companies are fleecing us. Insurance companies are fleecing us. Energy companies are fleecing us because they know we won't leave. And there's information out there that insurance companies will charge their loyal customers more than new customers because they're trying to acquire those new customers and they know that you won't leave. So they charge you more. And that's exactly what happens with Telstra. They charge, well, not really, but they know their customers won't leave. And a lot of customers will say, well, I don't get all-encompassing coverage all around the world, all around Australia, so I need Telstra. And most of these people don't need that coverage. I have no dealings with Telstra at all, simply because they do overcharge, in my opinion. But they can. That's the whole point. Okay, so Telstra has had another really good day, and that's why telecommunication, I'd assume, is up. I'm trying to think of some other companies in this. We know other companies, Aussie Broadband, stuff like that. But I'd say that Telstra is by far the biggest by market cap. Oh, we have REA Group, Car Group. I'm not sure if these are in telecommunications. Really? I'm going to have to question that. Communication. Communication. Okay. I thought this was telecommunication. That's what it says here, telecommunication. Anyway, yeah, Telstra's had a good day. Even REA Group's had a good day, and a few other here. Some of these make sense. Spark New Zealand, Chorus, Tuas, maybe not Nine Entertainment. And there's Aussie Broadband. And real estate industrials flat, and materials and utilities both down by over 1%. Let's have a look at utilities. Just want to have a look at some of the biggest companies within this. So we got AGL, yeah, that makes sense. Origin, APA Group. So a lot of these I would refer to as infrastructure companies. So maybe that's sort of what they're talking about here. Mercury, New Zealand, Meridian, AGL, Genesis Energy, Contact Energy, Genesis Power, ALGI, and yeah, Contact Energy is down a fair bit, down 5.94%, but has a market cap of only 1.95 billion. Origin Energy and APA Group, by far the biggest companies within this particular index. Or yeah, it's an index, yes. All right, so that's the sectors by indices. All indices are down. However, gold is relatively flat. By far, the best performing indice today is going to be telecommunications. There it is, or communication services. Oh, when you open up the sector, it goes to the indice, not the sector. That makes sense. Up 1.37%, and all ordinaries gold up 0.22%. Okay, so let's have a look at the best and worst performing companies today. And I'm hoping quite a few companies in my top 5 announcements are on this list. And we do have Infini Resources. In fact, Keely Resources, the best performing company yesterday, is today so far the best performing company. And I am going to have a look at the chart for that towards the end of the video, without doubt. That's fairly bullish. They had a really good day yesterday, another really good day today. But there's Infini Resources up 51%, and that company is my top announcement or top stock of the day. Atomos, don't care. AML 3 days had a nice little run. Too much volatility. I'm going to have a look at the chart for Dynamic Group, up 23.4%. That is looking interesting. Titomic, another nice day today. So a lot of volatility in that. I should have bought some shares in that company at 10 cents yesterday. Otherwise, FBR, another good day. Share price of that company keeps going up. And there's Catalyst Metals, up 14.6%. That company is in my top 5 announcements, coming in at number 2. So we have the number 1, number 2 companies in this particular list right here. So they have performed fairly well today. So let's have a look by market cap. We have Catapult, Imaging, which did release an announcement, but I'm just going to have a look at the chart for that company. Aurelia Metals, there it is. Coming in number 4 on my top 5 announcements, up 7.14%. And when they did release that announcement, or just after, I had a look at the share price. I was like, why is the share price not rallying? Share price was virtually flat. But looks like the market has discovered that that was a pretty good announcement from Aurelia. Doug Technology did not make it in my top 5. However, share price up 8.4%. The Americ's a pretty good day. And there's it is. Oh, Live Verdue, they did release an announcement, up 6.5%. So I might have a look at that chart for that company as well. Bell Financial did not make it, and Clearvue did not make it. There's the other 2 companies that are in my top 5 announcements. But Bellevue is up. Bell Financial is up. I'm pretty sure it's up. Let's have a look. Yeah, 4.43, which is actually pretty good share price performance on this sort of announcement. So that's nice. I probably would have liked it to be a little bit higher, to be honest. Okay, so let's have a look at the worst performing companies. And anything of interest here? No. Low turnover, low turnover, low turnover, low turnover, low turnover, low turnover. There's Agramen. They did release an announcement, and share price is down 14.8%, but nothing. I opened up the announcement, had a read of it, I went, whatever. But market doesn't like it. Let's have a look by market cap. Just going to have a look. And then we have Contact Energy, Insignia, Ladder Resources, Electro Optics, just a bit of volatility there. Aries Resources, and nothing. Nothing that is of interest to me just there. Okay, so let's have a look at the top 5 announcements of the day. I'll talk about some of the companies that did not make it into the top 5, briefly touch upon that. A company I was thinking of including if it was a boring day was XRF Scientific. Share price up 3.5% today after rallying yesterday by 5.9%. Now, I do own this company. That's one of the reasons I actually didn't talk about this company yesterday, but I thought if today was boring, I will discuss this. They exercise their Orbis call option. So they are taking 100% stake in this company. And the main reason is because the company's performing really well. So advisors exercise a call option to acquire the remaining 50% of Orbis Mining. And the main reason, it's a manufacturer of laboratory jaw crushers. And the main reason is they're doing really well. So Orbis, since September 2021, when the XRF did acquire 50%, Orbis has grown significantly and continues to gain market share. In financial year 21, Orbis had revenue of 2.3 million and profit of 0.34. So the company was profitable on such a low revenue. And in financial year 24, revenue is up to 5.8 million, so it's more than doubled, and profit is 1.7 million. So really nice margins for this Orbis. So they've now acquired 100% of this particular company, and the chart looks pretty good as well. Don't mind the chart for XRF Scientific. Looks pretty good. I like this chart. It's almost at all-time highs, or maybe it is all-time highs. Oh, it's very close to all-time highs. Pretty nice looking weekly chart for XRF Scientific, a company that I have been an owner for quite a while. Other few companies that did not make it into the top 5, including Pacific Edge. However, chart looks pretty weak. Share price has not really done anything. In fact, share price looks more than weak. Now, the share price has been going sideways for the last year. Now, something happened to this company on the 7th of June of last year. Share price collapsed 74%. Something to do with Medicare in the United States, if I remember correctly. They weren't going to, or Medicare wasn't going to cover whatever this company does. Share price rallied on the 6th of July by 95%. Probably has something to do with that as well. But the share price has just been drifting lower ever since then. So chart looks pretty bad right now for Pacific Edge. And so this is a sort of company where I just want to follow, see how they do perform. They did release an update, some sort of an update. Let's have a look. A quarterly update. But I don't think the company is profitable just yet. Whitehawk. I'm sorry, Whitehawk. You should have made it into my top 5 announcements of the day. Share price up 21.43%. However, it's on low base. Share price was 1.4. Now it's 1.7. And I think some of this could be just noise. And tomorrow the share price could drop 10, 15%. And saying that, it was an okay announcement. First cyber risk contract with ASX 100 listed company. I believe it's tab 4. I just want to verify that. I just can't remember Tabcorp. Yep, Tabcorp. Now, this is not the sort of announcement that would get me excited. It's a contract with an ASX 100 limited company, but there's no financial information within this announcement at all. So typically when that happens, I don't get that excited. I like financial information, numbers. I like numbers within an announcement. This could be anything. It could be 1 cent. Anyway, but Whitehawk, nice day for that company. However, again, the chart is not that pretty. A massive run in this company's share price back in February, which did not last very long. Share price went from 1.2 cents to 5.8 cents, almost a 5-bagger in about 5 trading days, and share price has pulled all the way back down to 1.2 cents. Now is at 1.7. IPL. Now this is actually, I'm going to leave IPL to the chart section of the video because I want to talk about that company because of the chart. So IPL chart, I'm just going to write that down so I don't forget. Freehill FHS, Freehill Mining, I think. Yeah, Freehill Mining, up 14.3%. However, the share price is below 1 cent, which does turn me off this company. But Urbis, Linus sales, up 84% quarter on quarter. That sort of title, I will have a look at this announcement just based off that title. So you have to sell me an announcement by the title. But gross sales of 470,000 for the quarter. It's not a lot at all, but it's an increase. And in fact, they do have the gross sales monthly numbers here, going all the way back to January, and it's increasing. It's increasing. There's no doubt about that. It's increasing. But I don't know anything about this company. And then I had a look at the chart and I went, no. Even though share price has rallied nicely today, which is only 1 pip, by the way, 14% is 1 pip. The chart and the share price does not fill me with any reason to look further at this company. However, Quickstep, maybe. So down 3.6%. However, the share price has rallied quite nicely the last 2 trading days, up about 45%, I'm assuming. And the company went into a trading halt because there was no announcements from the company that could be justified, was a catalyst behind the re-rating in the share price and the valuation of the company. So the ASX did ask them about it, and they did reply. And there was something in this that did make me more interested in the company. And maybe this is why the market is more interested in the company. So they typically, when the company gets a ASX price query, the first question is around whether the company does have information that is price sensitive that they haven't released to the market yet that could explain why the share price is rising. Most companies say no. And then in question 2, typically question 2 they don't usually answer. Usually question 3 is where you get the interesting information. But for Quickstep, they said for question 2, so they said they're not aware of information in question 1, but they said in question 2, however, Quickstep is aware of information concerning it that it has announced to the market. So if you actually go to question 2, they've answered it in the wrong spot. So if the answer to question 1 is yes, then they answer question 2. But the answer to question 1 is no. It has not been announced. But then for some reason, they actually answer question 2, which they didn't have to. So the way I look at this one is question 2, or their answer on question 2 more belongs in section 3. Section 3 is there any other information that can explain the movement of the share price? And this is where you get interesting information from the company. So if the answer to question 1 is no, is there any other explanation? And they've answered that as well. But let's have a look at what they talk about. And this is what intrigues me now about this company. Been following this company for over 10 years, and I've never held this company. Share price has been in long-term downtrend. Market cap is up something like $15 million. What they do is interesting, but not quite interesting enough and not quite profitable with fairly low margins. So on 13th of June, they released an announcement entitled Development Engineering Update. This announcement, this is where it gets interesting for me. So I didn't read this announcement when they released it. This announcement highlighted, among other things, recent progress made regarding contracts related to the manufacture and supply of drones. Manufacture and supply of drones. That's all I needed to become a little bit more intrigued about this company. Manufacture and supply of drones. And then on 26th of June, they released an announcement entitled Structure Business Unit Restructuring, relating to a significant restructuring of the structure business unit. So that didn't really interest me. It was more the drones. And then section 3, they said, company believes that collectively the market announcements concerning growth rate markets in relation to drone manufacture and factors contributing to the future profitability of the business in relation to restructuring activities would have been of significance to investors in the international defense and commercial aerospace manufacturing industries. Anyway, so let's have a look at the chart for this company. Could this be the shift in sentiment and the trend in this company's share price? Possibly. This could be an inflection point for the company. Now, I'm not calling it just yet because the share price has rallied quite significantly over the past month. Share price has gone from 15 cents up to 26.5 cents. If you go through the history of this company, it's ugly. This is the weekly chart going all the way back, probably to when I started following this company, maybe in the early 2010s, when the share price was significantly higher, and the share price has been a downtrend ever since. There was a brief period in late 2019 when looked like things were turning around, but no. So at this point in time, definitely following this company a little bit more closely because of that drone news, which I completely missed. And it's in my manufacturing watch list. That's Quickstep. And LV1, I've got to have a look at LV1 live. I don't know anything about this company. Live Verdue, they released an announcement in regards to edible beauty AI POC. I thought POC was point of care, but it's something else. Yeah. Usually POC is point of care in my experience. Now the share price is only up 4%, so maybe I'm lingering on this company a little bit too long. But just the title intrigued me. Edible point of care. Now proof of concept. Yeah, proof of concept. Provides a following update on the AI enablement proof of concept being deployed in the edible beauty business. What the hell? My first thinking was, what the hell is edible beauty? I thought beauty products you just put on your face and stuff like that. Just shows you that I don't use any beauty products because I'm just ruggedly handsome and I don't really need beauty products. Or ruggedly handsome men don't need beauty products. Anyway, so just intrigued me. Just the wording in the title. So let's have a look at the chart. Is the market interested in this company? And the question, or the answer is, maybe. The share price has fallen a fair bit from 88 cents to 49 cents. But before that, yeah, the market was interested. You could see a massive increase in volume in September. But we haven't seen, I suppose, as the share price fell, we did see a spike in volume. But anyway, live Verdue, I don't think this company is any on my watch list. So I'm going to put it into my Appendix 4C. Okay, so let's get to the top 5 announcements of the day. And we'll start off with Clearvue. The first it's not real. The first Appendix 4C for a company that is producing receipts. We've seen Narada, NYR, and Proteon Energy, POW, release Appendix 4Cs before Clearvue, but neither of those companies had receipts. In fact, Proteon Energy is not even a real company. It's a shell, and they're looking for business opportunities to backdoor list into that shell. So Clearvue Technologies is a real company selling stuff. Not only that, by the way, I am a shareholder of this company, just trading this company right now, and the tech behind this company is intriguing to me. So there, I'm going to have to go to their about section because I'm going to totally mess up what they do. So they operate in the building integrated photovoltaic BPIV sector. I would recommend having a read of what this company does. I'm not going to go through it right now. It's really intriguing technology, really interesting, intriguing technology. And who knows, this could be a massive thing for this company. Now, in saying all that, receipts for this company, $131,000 in this particular quarter. Now, in saying all that, look at the year to date, $151,000. So in the previous 3 quarters, this company only produced $20,000 in receipts. So at least it's an increase, but $131,000, this company is in the very early stages. We don't know if this technology will be successful, but it's promising. And the market thinks it's promising as well. So let's have a look at the chart. Typically for these sort of Appendix 4Cs, I'll have a look at the receipts history, but for this company, it's probably not that applicable just yet because receipts are fairly low. But the market is interested in this company, and that makes me interested in the company. So really the breakout for this company was in July last year when the share price was 20 cents. Now it's 57.5 cents. We saw the share price run up. Share price has pulled back, and then we saw the share price starting to move into an uptrend, it looks like. So don't have high conviction around this trade, but I do think the technology looks interesting and the chart looks interesting as well. But a very small portion of my trading position is in this company because I don't have the high conviction just yet. But Clearvue comes in number 5 because the first cash receipts producing company to have released their Appendix 4C for the June quarter, and you deserve some recognition for that. Clearvue Technologies. Coming in number 4, we have Aurelia Metals, and I was going to say the share price was a little bit higher earlier, up to 23 cents. Now it's 22 cents. Financial year 24 production and cash update. Released this at 12:21 p.m. So just before I woke up, and this was interesting. So the first thing I did was look at this table. Didn't look at any wording. I just looked at this table. So gold. So this is a gold, copper, lead, and zinc. And the most important thing here is they have all the quarter production for all these elements. And the June quarter is just there. If you can, well, no, it can't. And the first thing that really stood out for me was gold produced. 19.1 thousand ounces, significantly higher than the last two quarters. Copper was higher as well. Lead a little bit down, but zinc as high as well. So this company significantly increased their production in this particular quarter. Not only that, they beat their guidance. So they are really guided for gold to be between 60 and 65,000 ton or ounces, and they came in at 65.3. So that's a beat of guidance. And they got in, copper was within their targeted range, lead was just below the targets, and zinc was within their targeted range. And all-in sustaining costs to be towards the lower end of their previously revised guidance range of between 2,000 and 2,150. I'd probably like that to be a little bit lower. I had a look at the company's March quarter results, and a significantly better quarter for this company. Other things I like to look at is cash. Balance sheet remains strong with cash on hand of 116.5 million, but more importantly than that, cash on hand actually increased to 116.5 million. March quarter, it was 106.7 million. So they increased the cash on hand by $10 million in this particular quarter. So pretty, I think it was a pretty good quarter from Aurelia Metals. So let's have a look at the chart for the company. And is this chart looking good? And it is. This chart looks pretty good, doesn't it? A beautiful turnaround for Aurelia Metals. Look at that beautiful turnaround. This is exactly the sort of chart you want to see. And I'm not a shareholder of this company. I'm not trading this company. I'm not sure why, because this is a nice looking chart. You can see a beautiful consolidation period for about, it went from October 2022 through to March 2024. So we're talking about an almost 18-month period when the share price went sideways. And during that 18-month period, we saw a shift in sentiment. And we could just determine the shift in sentiment by these moving average ribbons. And then you can just see a shift or crossover in the two moving average ribbons in February. There it is, 29th of February. That's when it broke out. In fact, I'd say the breakout occurred on the 26th of February. And you could have bought on that breakout at about 12 cents. And share price has almost doubled since then. I had a beautiful looking chart for Aurelia Metal. I'm not sure why I'm not trading this company. I'm not sure why I have not put some money into this company just today on the back of this particular announcement. By the way, the markup cap of this company is 220 million, 376 million. Oh, maybe the enterprise value. I was thinking of the enterprise value. So $110 million of cash. So enterprise value is like 260 million. Don't think the company has debt, but so the company is not that expensive at these levels, particularly for a company that is actually increasing their cash levels. But the question remains, this was a good quarter, but then can they continue this sort of quarterly performance moving forward? If we have a look at their April results, which I did have a look at. Now, if you go back to April, the share price was rallying at this point. So the market was aware of something positive for this company. Now, probably the problem was if you go to have a look at the ASIC or all-in sustaining costs, it was pretty high in the March quarter. So that could have been a pretty big turnoff. But they beat guidance. This is their financial year 24 guidance, which they did release in April, and they did beat their gold production guidance. So this was a good quarter and a good year from the company. Aurelia Metals, definitely a company to put on your watch list, in my opinion. That's coming in number 4. Number 3 has to be, well, it doesn't have to be, could have come in higher. Bell Financial Group, share price up 4% to $1.41. I'm going to just show you, I did a tweet on this, FinChat, Bell Financial Group, BFG. I am a share of this company, by the way, so I might be a little bit biased. What I'm going to show you is semi-annual or biannually or half-yearly earnings before tax. Here it is. So this is the company's historical earnings before tax. So nice. This goes back 5 years, not 10 years. I wish it was 10 years, but for some reason, FinChat, you can only go back 5 years if you look at half-yearly, 10 years if you look at full year. So nice increase in earnings before tax from 2018 through to 2021. company had a record earnings before tax of $43.5 million in the December quarter 2020, $39 million in December quarter 2021. But he noticed the earnings before tax were decreasing. So now they're up to $23.8 million, which was up 47% from the previous corresponding period. So if we go back to this is important. So the numbers aren't in this particular chart just yet. So we just have to see. And this was the best half year this company has produced since that December quarter in 2021, just beating that December quarter 2022. First thing you notice, one of the first things you should notice, there is some seasonality to this company. Their best halves tend to be December halves. The worst halves tend to be the June halves. So that's very important. That this particular half year was 23.8 million, and there is potential that the second half of their financial year is going to be better. So more than likely, it could be towards $30 million net profit before tax, which would mean the valuation of this company is fairly low. If we look at the last 12 months, $19.2 million in the last half, up to 23.8 million, which means the profit before tax in the trailing 12 months is about $43 million. Yeah, $43 million. I'm doing maths right, which means not earnings. This is profit before tax. We don't know the tax expense. We don't know that at all. But if you look at the P/E ratio, and earnings is profit before tax, you get profit before tax. Well, it's trading on 10 times profit before tax in the trailing 12 months, which doesn't seem that excessive for this company. I wonder if they have a profit before tax ratio or something. Probably not. Probably not. It's not something you usually look at. And if we do go to the P/E ratio of this company, typically it trades between about 10 and let's say 15 or so. And so it's probably in that 10 to 15 range when they do release their results. But the main thing is the profit before tax, or the profit of this company is starting to grow again after a few bad years. And you can definitely see that in the chart. Now, I would consider this company to be a growth company. The reason I say that is if you look at the weekly chart and go back long enough, the share price was in an uptrend. The company had a couple of bad years and the share price is punished. Share price fell below $1 for a period of time, but the share price now is moving back into an uptrend. And that's the main reason I am now holding this company, because the share price is moving up. And even though share price is going sideways, has been going sideways for the last 6+ months, I think, particularly on the back of this particular news flow from the company, share price, I think, should continue to move higher from here. If it doesn't, I think this company could be considered quite cheap if the share price doesn't move higher from here. So that's Bell Financial Group coming in number 3. Now we go to Catalyst Metals, up 13.5%. Now this chart looks pretty good. Their announcement was titled Achieves 4-Year Production. And I thought, all right, that's fine. I did not open up the announcement, but then I saw the share price rallied when I woke up and I went, oh, there's more to this announcement than the title. So the title should have been probably changed to be more bullish. That's my one little gripe about this company. So Catalyst ends the year with gold production at Plutonic up 41% year on year and only minor increase in cost. They acquired this particular mine in July 2023. So we're talking about 1 year ago. Now operated for 12 months. And what is intriguing is how they're performing compared to the previous owners. It's night and day difference. So under Catalyst ownership, Plutonic produced 85,000 ounces, compares to 60,000 ounces in financial year 23, which was the previous owner. So they significantly increased the production. So we're saying almost 50% increase in production. So maybe they're just better operators than the previous owners. This performance and cash cost hasn't increased all that much. This performance allowed Catalyst to end the year with $37 million of cash and bullion on hand and $45 million available liquidity. Don't care about that. And debt has reduced to $8 million from $36 million. So debt has reduced $28 million. So this company should be gushing in cash. They decreased the debt, increased the cash on hand. I think they've increased the cash on hand. I'm assuming that. I didn't have a look though. Didn't have a look. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. I didn't do this earlier. I'm going to go back to Got to go back 1 year. And we're going to go through the half-year accounts just to see if the cash has increased. So they were not profitable this particular half year. So let's go down. Whoops. Let's go down to, here we go. So cash on hand, so 19.4 million. And at this point, let's go, where's the balance sheet? They had the debt was slowly decreasing, still $28 million of debt. So they've decreased the debt. And what was the cash on hand? I totally forgot. 19.4 million. So they've increased the cash from 19.4 million to 37. Oh, that's bullion as well. I don't like how they've included bullion. So it's unclear exactly, although maybe they've got bullion here. Inventories, 30.9 million. So cash and bullion like 49 million. So that's decreased to 37 million, but debt has significantly decreased as well. Oh, it's a complicated web of numbers you have to sift through. So it did look good. And they had some nice little graphs here talking about how they're performing so much better than the previous owners. And I don't think there's any argument against that. And that's really it. But the share price has rallied and the market likes it. And to be honest with you, the chart looks spectacular. I love this chart. This chart, just like Aurelia, is looking good. I like this chart. So I could imagine taking a trading position in this company and also Aurelia Metals, because both charts look, they're similar but not the same, but they're very similar both. However, the catalyst or the breakout for Catalyst Metals was not that long ago, like in April, May. So beautiful announcement from a catalyst. Okay, so coming in number one, we have Infini Resources, I88. Infini Resources up 57%. I'm liking that. So soil grades up to 74,000. In fact, I'll say 75,000. 75,000 U3O8, so we'll just say uranium, 7.5% grade. I'm assuming that's grade, yeah. Okay, so how do you read these sort of announcements? That's the first thing I thought. So how to read uranium results, grades. All right, so here's one from Market Index. I'm going to open up this one, and I read another one. I think it might have been this one as well. So read two. There's also some videos, uranium drill results and geology masterclass from Resource Talks. A couple of those YouTube videos. I actually might read those. Here's one, Making the Grade, Understanding Exploration Results. I forget which one I read. Definitely read this one from Market Index. Resources are usually quoted in U3O8. That's uranium. So we can say that, commonly known as Yellowcake. So maybe to make me seem like I know what I'm talking about, I'll refer to U3O8 as Yellowcake from now on, which is roughly 85% elemental uranium. A grading of 0.1% of Yellowcake, 1,000 parts per million, is typical of currently mined uranium deposits. Anything over 1% uranium is considered high grade. Now, this company, when they did release an announcement not that long ago, stunning high-grade uranium soil results at Portland Creek, there was news flow that this was one of the highest-grade uranium finds we've seen recently. So I had nothing to dispute that. Anyway, so let's go back to this. So we're talking about 1% high-grade, 0.1% normal or Yellowcake. And now, this one, yeah, I think it was this one I read. In fact, these are the same. Oh, no, primer. Okay, I didn't read this one. Oh, this goes through all. This one goes through copper, gold. Okay, so because I didn't read this one, I won't read that one. But this particular article from Resource World, this was released 2 years ago, was actually really intriguing because they had way more detail than Market Index. And I should have underlined. So first things first, uranium assays are not quoted as assays for the element uranium. They're quoted as assays for uranium oxide, chemical symbol U3O8. Okay, uranium oxide, commonly known as Yellowcake. So we've already learned that. Yellowcake is approximately 85% elemental uranium. Secondary uranium is radioactive. We probably know that. Okay. Fission Uranium announced in September 2021. I think that's the company. intersected 50-meter intersection of over 10,000 counts per second radioactivity from drilling. That's went over my head. In early 2022, Fission Uranium announced chemical assays of 46 meters at 8% Yellowcake from the same zone. In general, over 10,000 counts per second is extreme high grade. 1,000 counts per second is moderate grade, and below that is low grade for Athabasca basin type uranium deposits. This is where it gets interesting. Thirdly, Athabasca, which is in Saskatchewan in Canada, grades are just extremely high compared to the rest of the world. The two largest mines in the basin, Cigar Lake and MacArthur River, have uranium resources calculated grades of 18% and 17% yellowcake, respectively, whereas the range of three deep zones in Australia have underground uranium resources calculated at a grade of 0.274% yellowcake. So I was like, whoa, this Athabasca basin is amazing. But there's a big but here. Both areas are underground uranium mines of a similar style. The difference is that the Canadian mines are located below a very incompetent, which is an interesting word, I don't know anything about geology, and porous Athabasca sandstone, which causes mining challenges and inordinate expense. Okay. What else? Okay, so here's out. So Canada is blessed with the highest grade uranium ores. By the way, Infini is in Canada, but not in that area. It's in Newfoundland or Newfoundland. So Canada is blessed with the highest grade uranium ores in the world, up to 20% yellowcake. I consider a drill intersection of plus 10% over 3 meters to be or more to be exciting. So 10% to be exciting over 3 meters or more, where the intersection is more than 100 meters deep and requires underground mining. For an open pit case, I would consider 30 meters of 0.5% to be exciting in a shallow drill hole under 100 meters vertical depth. In lower cost areas such as the southwest United States or Australia, sandstone deposits can be economic at grades of 0.05% to 0.4%, depending on whether ISL can be used. So this is a really interesting article. So I'm learning a little bit more. Know nothing about this. So let's go back to Infini Resources. Let's have a look. So this is in Newfoundland. I'm not sure about the geology of Newfoundland. It's a completely different area than Saskatchewan. For those who don't know anything about Canada, so Saskatchewan is in the west. Newfoundland is as far as east as you can go, literally as far east as you can go. Let's have a look at the map. And I've never been to Newfoundland, and I really want to go. So Saskatchewan is there. It is. So just north of Montana, for those who know United States, and Newfoundland is there. It is. It's an island, and I really want to go here. There's a couple of national parks. There's a national park right here I want to go to. Maybe it's here. Somewhere in here. Yeah, the Grossmore National Park. Oh, I just want to go here so much. 4.9 rating on this. It just looks absolutely beautiful. Some of the images I've seen in regards to this national park, just stunning. Not much, you see not much trees, but it's just absolutely stunning, that area. Anyway, so it's in a completely different area of Canada, so I'm not sure about the geology of this area. But let's have a look. So they're talking about parts per million of 75,000 all the way down to 12,441 with greater than 3% yellowcake. So I'm going to have to go through this a little bit more, but it does sound really good just based off my limited knowledge, and my knowledge has just increased. So 7.5% grade at 75,000. Anyway, and there's the, that's where it is. In fact, I don't know where exactly this is in Newfoundland. Anyway, so the market absolutely loves this company right now. So let's have a look at the chart for Infini Resources, and the chart it's just gone off. Share price has gone from 16 cents to 76.5 cents on the back of these few results. And this, to me, means the market understands these results, and these results are pretty good. Because before that, share price was in a downtrend. So this is definitely a potential trade, just because the market loves it, and of my limited knowledge, I think it looks pretty good. Okay, so let's have a look at the charts. This is probably my longest daily rundown video, but I do want to go through a few charts of companies that did not make it. So let's have a look at Imogen. Share price up today. They did release an announcement, which I completely sidestepped. First patient dosed in phase 1 bile fract cancer trial. That sort of announcement does nothing for me, but the market likes it. Share price up 10%, but the chart looks pretty ugly. So this is not a breakout. So the whole reason I go through this process is I'm looking for breakouts. Now, typically the process does not take me this long. I can find a breakout I can find all the breakouts within a few minutes. So this is not a breakout. I want to take a look at Incitec Pivot. This company did pop up to my radar recently because it looked like the share price wanted to break out. You can see these few crosses. There was like 4 crosses in a row, which tells me it's close to breaking out. But our share price was down a fair bit today. Incitec Pivot, but the share price is not breaking out, so it's sort of a false hit so far. They failed to sell something. If the share price is up now, so it went from being down significantly to being up. So Incitec Pivot seizes negotiations for the sale of fertilizers business. So the market didn't like that. But yeah, it's not. Chart is looking interesting, but I need confirmation the share price wants to move into an uptrend. So that's Incitec Pivot. I looked at Imogen, AMN. Did I already look at this chart? I might have already looked at Agrimin. No, I didn't. This does not look familiar. So this company did release an announcement that share price has fallen back. But again, you can see just like Incitec Pivot, we have a few crossovers with the moving averages. Those are these crosses. So I'm looking at the 50-day and the 200-day moving average crossing over. So then I mark that with a cross. And what I'm looking for, when you see a lot of crosses in a row, that's a sign that the share price or the sentiment is flat. Trend is neutral. There's no trend. And you definitely see that with Agrimin. Share price was in a downtrend. Now it's flat. The thing that interests me about this particular chart was the volume. We have seen expansive volume over the past 3 or 4 months. And that is this is a fertilizer company. That's typical of the market becoming more and more interested in a company. And that could be a precursor for the share price of a company moving into an uptrend. Not an absolute, but it can be a precursor. So that's why Agrimin got onto my watch list. I don't think I put into any watch lists at all. Put that into my mining. Doug, up 8%. This is a company I am trading. Share price started to look weak. It is looking weak. And the share price has rallied today. The chart is starting to look the weakest it has for a long time since I bought it at 83 cents way back here in February 2023, not that long ago. So share price has more than tripled since then. And this is a beautiful breakout. Share price broke out in the 11th of January, around then, at 62 cents. And I bought at about 30% higher than the breakout. And it's has been a triple bagger for me. I have taken profits along the way, but I am not going to sell unless I get a sell signal. At this point in time, definitely the weakest the chart has looked since the breakout, but not a sell signal just yet for Doug. KLI, a big day yesterday, another big day today. I was thinking yesterday could have been a breakout. I think today confirms it. And really big volume coming through. I'd say there is a possibility a lot of day traders have got on board this because yesterday was breaking out. It showed signs of breaking out. I think today has confirmed it. However, I don't like the share price is up 67% because I'm going to see more volatility with this company's chart moving forward. After the chart, share price was in a long-term downtrend. Another company that has really popped off is Dynamic Group. Share price long-term downtrend. And we have seen an increase in volume. Look at that, increase in volume. In fact, if you look at the weekly chart, yeah, without doubt, an increase in volume the last few weeks. And not only that, share price just this week has gone up 42.5%. 42.5%. Is this a breakout? It's moving towards that. I wouldn't be surprised to see this company receive a price query from the ASX because I don't remember the company releasing any news flow. No news flow. So this is primed for the company to release ASX price query. Now, this is a drilling company. So a drilling and blast company. It used to be called Dynamic Drill and Blast. I do hold another drilling company called Mitchell Services. So I am trading this right now. And I expect a re-rating in this company's share price over the next year or so. It's looking really cheap. So possibly the dynamic drill and blast, whatever it's called now, dynamic group, is looking cheap as well. So this is just a sign of this particular sector. Anyway, so that's dynamic. I just want to call it dynamic drill and blast. It's dynamic group. The last company I want to talk about is Orthocell, which I don't think I've mentioned. Orthocell did release a record quarterly and yearly revenue. I did talk about this company yesterday. They went into trading hold at 11 a.m. this morning. Share price was flat. And I thought, oh, they're doing capital raising. That's my first thought. Capital raising, Orthocell, yep. So let's have a look. Is this a capital raising? It's not. Trading hold is requested pending announcement by the company in relation to receipt of regulatory approval of Striat in Canada. Well, it's Canada, not United States, but regulatory approval always gets me interested in a company. So I'm going to end this video on Orthocell potentially getting regulatory approval of Striat in Canada. So that's all I got for this video. Probably one of my longest daily rundown videos of all. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave it in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.